Guys, it's Audra and welcome back to 365 Projects. We are at the beginning of my Cramathon vlog, and so today is day one, which is Sunday, and it is 9 o'clock in the evening because I'm just now updating for the first time. So basically today's been just a really relaxing day and it's been absolutely amazing. Took the dog on 2 walks. We also took him to the baseball field to run around off leash, which is great. We finally found a spot to do that. Made breakfast, made lunch, made dinner in the house, kind of using our stuff from the farmer's market yesterday. What else did we do? We went swimming and we took an afternoon nap and it was just a great day. And now it's time to kind of wind out the night and do some reading. So while doing walks and stuff, I've been listening to Far From the Tree by Robin Benway, and I'm 75 pages in, so it's like an hour and 45 minutes, so I have about 7 hours left. And I'm absolutely loving it. This is one of my challenges for predicted 5-star read, and I totally think that's on track for that. So far, I've met all the characters, which are the 3 siblings, and it tells it from those 3 points of view. So we have Grace, Maya, and Joaquin, I think is how you say his name. And basically, Grace starts off the story, and she's 16, I believe, and she is pregnant. And she's also adopted, and so it kind of leads her to finding out who her biological family is. And then we meet Maya and kind of her story about how she was adopted by a family that has biological children. She is also gay, and so that plays into her story in trying to figure out like how her biological family fits into what she has already known. And then you have Joaquin, who has a different story because he was actually placed into foster care and was never adopted. And he's also, I think they're all like half siblings to each other, and so he is actually a different ethnicity, which they haven't stated what that is yet. But so now I'm just getting to the point where they're all meeting each other and kind of building that relationship and trying to decide whether or not they're going to work together to find their biological mom. And this is just an amazing one, and like I said, 5-star already, 75 pages in, and I don't doubt that it will be amazing from start to finish. So the next one that I've started today, well, I've kind of been doing things here and there about the house, waiting on my boyfriend to get his stuff together, was Time Was by Ian McDonald. This was one outside my comfort zone because it does have time traveling. The other parts of the synopsis is the World War II setting, and then a male-male romance, which is awesome. And so I'm already on page 31, and there's only 142 pages, so I have 111 pages left. I would like to finish this tonight just so I can say that I'm not going off my list. Now, this one isn't reading as easy as I thought it was. What I've noticed on short books lately is that the sentence structure is different than what I read in other books. And so it's kind of been more difficult to follow, but I do like it. Kind of has the back and forth historical time stuff that I like, that I've talked about many, many times before. And there's a lot of talk about the love of books because the story is basically they find a book of poetry, and it goes back in time to who had that book to begin with, I believe. So I'm excited to get into this and hopefully finish it tonight. So I will check back in later. So I didn't finish Time Was before I went to bed last night, but it is the morning of day 2 and I have finished Time Was. I'm not really sure how to feel about this book. I think overall it's a 2.5 read. So it's about this man who basically like buys books and sells them when bookstores are closing and like getting rid of books. And he finds this book called Time Was. That's a book of poetry, and inside of it there's like letters to a man's lover, and like, I don't know, it's all just very, very confusing how this whole story comes together with the time traveling. And ultimately by the end I'd already figured out how it was going to end and what kind of like the twist was, I guess. And so kind of disappointed I didn't love it more, and it wasn't as like set in history, and it wasn't as much about the male-male romance as it was about the person that found the book and was trying to figure out the storyline. So that was kind of disappointing, but yeah, 2.5, I guess. I have that one done, so this is the one out of my comfort zone for the time traveling. And so today I'm going to hopefully also finish Far From the Tree, and I'll update you on that one, I guess, when I get back from the second walk of the day with the dog. I have about 5.5 hours left on the audiobook, but in between that, I also plan on starting Shoot Down the Windy Bird. It is flash fiction and poetry from Julie, from Pages and Pens, and I want to kind of start this and kind of see the vibe. This one was so like choppy that I don't know if I'm kind of ready for flash fiction right now, but I will test it out. I have a lot of errands to run today and calls to make, and so it may be good to have like a short story in between each one. I don't know, we'll see. So, and then I'm also going to go to the post office because my mail can't be delivered here yet, but I need to pick up my packages. I have some book mail that I can share with you because I bought more books. Surprise. Anyways, I will check in with you in a little bit. It is now 4 o'clock and I have actually gotten a lot done today, which is surprising for a Monday, but I got my planner all situated, ready for the week, trying to get back into that routine. I went to Home Goods to return some things and then picked up things that I needed and some things that I really didn't need, but I guess it's still like a legitimate buy. I realized I have like no plastic cups to like drink from, and I found these donut ones that are huge, and it goes with my like kitchen theme of donuts, and so I just had to take them home with me. What else did I do? I went to the district office and picked up the Strength Finder book because I have to take the Strength Finder test and kind of go through it with my library team. And then I also went to the mailbox and picked up my mail. So here's what I got for that. There are some very random things, but there's a lot of books too, and I'll tell you why. This first package is a gift to myself for moving because, I mean, doesn't everybody do that? Second volume of I Hate Fairyland, a middle grade Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth, as well as Breakout by Kate Messner. I'll tell you about these in my haul, I guess, but you can just see them for now. Both of those middle grades are a different format than usual. And then I picked up Anger is a Gift because Natasha from My Reading is Odd keeps raving about this, and I just need it for myself. This is actually quite a bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. And so I think it goes along with like the Hate That You Give, and there's a lot of anxiety rep and gay rep as well. So I'm excited about that one. And then my book of the month came in, and it's like the first one ever that I've only gotten one book, and that is The Kiss Quotient. I'm excited to dig into this with Chelsea and Julie's book hangover book club. And then my random things, I've picked up these gloves. These are pet hair removal gloves. Brady is part shepherd, and so he is extremely hairy. We're gonna try these out because he hates the Furminator brush. And then this is a new mirror for my car because I have already broken the side view mirror on the carport because I'm awesome. Anyways. So that is kind of my quick unboxing of sorts, just kind of sharing what came in the mail. I am still having to go to the actual like industrial post office because they haven't made my key yet for my post box. But other than that, I am still reading Far from the Tree. I have about 3.5 hours, less than 3.5, I'm almost like 3 hours and 10 minutes left. And I am still absolutely loving it. It's kind of getting to the climax of like everybody's going through a crisis. And yeah, a lot of feelings for sure. I have not cried yet. I could see myself crying at the end, which I don't do often. So, but if you are a crier, this will get you for sure. So hopefully I will check in by the end of the night and tell you my final thoughts on whether or not this is actually my 5-star. And then yeah, I'm going to start prepping supper. I'm just gonna make cheeseburger salad. I saw a recipe from a friend earlier this week and it looked phenomenal. So I'm gonna try it out. So maybe I'll show you that later. We'll see. You ready? Here we go. Oh. As you can see, we went to that little baseball field and he got to run around for a while, and then he learned how to use his new water bottle. We got some work to do with that because he ran away with it at one point. But I have 2 hours left on Far from the Tree from the audiobook. I am going to finish it tonight. However, I just saw that it is the 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park today, and I cannot stop being obsessed with that even though I'm 30 years old. So I was 5 years old when it was made, but this is what we are doing with our evening, and then I will get back to the audiobook. So I will update you later. So obviously it is now the next morning, and that makes it day 3 of Cramathon. Now, I didn't finish Far From the Tree last night. I only had about 30 pages left, and I was starting to doze off, and big things were happening, and the whole story was coming together, so I held off and finished it while walking the dog this morning, and so at 7:30 this morning, I have finished it. And yeah, I was totally right. 5-star book through and through. I absolutely adored this book, the relationships, the characters. I will gush about it, I'm sure, in my monthly wrap-up and at the end of this vlog, but yeah, if you haven't read this one yet, there's a reason that it was a finalist for the National Book Award. You need to pick it up for sure. So kind of going into plans for the day. I did not start Shoot Down the Windy Bird yesterday, so I'm going to get some of those started today. Audiobook-wise, we're going to go with, I just dropped it, The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory, I think. And this one is one that I've had on my TBR since it came out. Just sounds super cute about like kind of a fake relationship, going to a wedding together. And I'm going to a wedding this weekend, so that's why I wanted to read it this week finally. So we're going to start that and hopefully get that finished in the next couple days. And then while I'm just around the house and relaxing today, I'm going to start Juliet Takes a Breath. I believe this is just about a Puerto Rican American lesbian and her story. I don't really know much else other than Adriana and Cece rave about this one, and it's pretty short, so I'm excited to get to this one today. So I'm gonna make breakfast and kind of get the day going and get some stuff done, so I'll check in a bit. It is now 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm checking in for the first time. I have done quite a bit of reading, which I'll talk to you about here in a second, but I've done some other things as well. I played with some makeup, as you can see. I'm kind of using my Jaclyn Hill palette as much as possible so I can justify getting her new collab with Morphe, and that is like the Vault collection, which is 4 more like mini palettes that's coming out on the 26th. So I'm playing with colors that I've never used before, which is the green and the gold, and that's why I'm wearing this green t-shirt. But then what else did I do? I filmed a video, so that's uploading, my June wrap-up finally, and edited that, put it in Filmora, added the pictures, got all that going. And so I've also figured out how to use on demand on my TV. I'm only going to have it for 25 days because it's like free with the internet bundle for the first month or whatever, and I'm trying to like watch the entire like first 2 seasons of This Is Us so I can get caught up with that. So figure that out. But anyways, so I've listened to 2 hours of The Wedding Date so far, and I'm on page like 74. I am absolutely stinking loving this. It is cute, it is funny, it is like hot and bothered, and like the tension is just there, and I am loving it. And I could probably finish it today if I really got down to it, but I probably won't. I'm gonna save it and finish it for tomorrow too. But I'm excited about that one. And then I'm also 60 pages into Juliet Takes a Breath. So far, Juliet came out to her family right before she leaves to get on a plane to go from the Bronx, I believe, to Oregon to go live with this lady and do an internship for the summer. She wrote a book that like is like super inspiring and feminist to Juliet, and so Juliet has left her girlfriend behind for the summer, who is like doing an internship for the Democratic Convention in DC. And so there's going to be a lot of like political and feminist and lesbian topics, and I'm excited about that. It's something different that I've never read before, and I really don't know where it's gonna go, because this lady that she's working for smokes a lot of weed, is all about energies and auras and stuff like that, which is not like my wheelhouse at all. So that's a little bit different, but I am 60 pages in. I want to get like 60 more pages in by the end of the day, so I'm gonna be halfway through this, and maybe even halfway through this, so that tomorrow I can finish both and stay on track with a book a day. So we will see. So for this evening, what I'm going to do is read a little bit more of Juliet Takes a Breath, probably take the dog out, catch a bite to eat real quick before heading over to my boyfriend's apartment. We're going to watch our favorite show for the summer, which is America's Got Talent. Nothing too spectacular. And just hang out for a little bit before I come back home. He's got a really busy week between working and getting ready for his brother's wedding, and then he's also started a master's course, so not seeing him a lot this week, and that's alright. Kind of catching up, perfect for a readathon, so I will check in later. Good morning. It is day 4, so it is now Wednesday. It is 7:45, and we've already been up for an hour and a half. So the dog woke me up at 6:15 because he was done sleeping, and so I took him to the park. We ran him for a while, so hopefully he is worn down for a little bit so I can get some reading done this morning. So I just kind of need to do a little quick update, and hopefully at the end of the day I'll have a halfway through kind of update of what all I've read so far. So I did not meet my goals by the end of the night last night, so I wasn't yet halfway through with this one. However, with the walk and breakfast and stuff, now I am more than halfway, so that is awesome. I am still loving this. I love that it's pretty on point with like current day relationships and like texting and how long distance relationships work. Being that I've done long distance and like for 5 years before the last 3 weeks or so, this is pretty true, I guess, in terms of like looking forward to seeing someone. However, obviously he's a doctor, and so they get to like fly and see each other every weekend. That's just not reality for normal people, but that would be my only like side comment, I guess. But other than that, I'm loving it. Just a lot of action, if you know what I mean. So I have 3 hours left of this, so I'm definitely finishing this one today. And then I did not read any more of Juliet Takes a Breath, so I've got to hopefully finish that. We'll see how that goes. And then yesterday evening when we were watching America's Got Talent, my boyfriend was working on his homework. During the commercials, I started reading Shoot Down the Windy Bird. So I am like a fourth, I don't know, way through. It's not very long. I read the first part, and I think it's kind of like split up into seasons of life. So I think I read the section about childhood, and I've never read flash fiction before, and I'm enjoying it. This is another one that needs like a little side note of story 2 has breast cancer in it. So, oh, cancer everywhere. Anyways, so I got sidetracked, obviously, thinking about that. So I definitely need to make a video because it's obviously bothering me. So today the game plan is to obviously read some, and then I think this evening we're going to go to a Royals game. So I'm not going to do much reading tonight. So I need to get some reading done today and just kind of clean up my house or my apartment a little bit. And yeah, I will check in a little later. All right, we are now at 10:30, and I'm finally halfway in Juliet Takes a Breath. I did take some breaks to fill in some things in my book quote journal. So what I do is if I'm reading and I find a quote I want to keep, I either take a picture of it or use a book dart and come back to it later. And so I need to catch up. I'm filled in a book I read back in October of just quotes. It's from Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. So these I had saved in my phone, and so I filled some of those in because I have some quotes I want to add from Juliet Takes a Breath, but I need to catch up before I get to those. It's just one of those things got behind on, I guess. So Juliet Takes a Breath, halfway through. I once again want to finish today. There are a lot of topics in here to discuss and to contemplate as this main character is kind of trying to understand all of them too. Like they talk about, in this section I read, they talked about polygamy and white privilege and white allies. There's just a whole lot of conversations going on. Like it even made me like contemplate like the feminine hygiene products that I use. So there's a lot of things going on in this small book, and is no way done in a forceful way to like make you like really question your beliefs or understandings, because it also talks about religion, but it just kind of addresses like her questioning of what all this means, because she's never heard of some of these things before, and so I can appreciate that. And I'm excited to see what the next half of the book does as she's getting like used to her new surroundings in Portland and becoming who she is in her life of being out as a lesbian. And yeah, it's a good read so far. Just like I said, there's a lot of things to think about, a lot of quotes that I'm definitely going to write down in my book that I want to come back to just kind of look more into. Like they talked about what a banana republic is, and I had no idea. I knew it was a store, but I didn't know like what the actual name came from. And wow, I mean, you should definitely look it up if you've never heard of that. It's a very interesting conversation to be had. So anyways, I am going to probably take the dog on another walk, listen to more of the wedding date, and check back in soon. It is now 4:45ish, and I think I'm checking in on my reading progress for last time today. We'll see. We're going to go to the Royals game, so I'll probably add some clips in next. But I have some updates to share with you. So I just finished the audiobook of The Wedding Date, and right after I updated last, there of course was a cancer diagnosis. So I think that kind of just ticked me off. And then I got kind of sick of the insecurities between their relationships that were constantly happening, and I felt like it was just kind of pushing the plot forward. And it was kind of like insta-love-ish, because this all takes place in the course of like 2 months. But the redeeming qualities of this girl loves herself some sprinkled donuts, which is like my spirit animal, and the fact that the epilogue was super cute and cheesy. I think I'm going to go with a 4-star. It was a really good romance for the most part. Really solid, definitely some steamy scenes. So I enjoyed the journey of it, I guess. So 4 stars, even though I had some issues, obviously towards the very end. But I thought that she was coming out with like a sequel to this in September. However, it's just her second book, and it looks a lot like this with a black woman and maybe a white male. I don't know. It kind of looks like that on the cover. But basically, it's called The Proposal, and it's a proposal gone wrong. And once the girl hooks up with the doctor and that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I don't think I'm going to buy it, but hopefully the library gets it, maybe on Overdrive again. So we'll see about that. And then I have read some more in Juliet Takes a Breath. I can't really update you on the plot of it because I'm sure that's kind of like a big spoiler for the book in terms of relationships and how things are going with that. There's a librarian, a cute librarian, so that's kind of fun. But I have 85 pages left, and so we'll see if I get this finished today. So back to this one. Since I finished this on audiobook, I get to start at The Kitchen House, which is one I've been meaning to read for a very long time on audiobook, and that is narrated by my favorite narrator, Bonnie Turpin, so I'm excited to get into that. It is a much different topic and much more serious about slavery, and it's an older novel. It's not written in Own Voices, so that'll be a little different too. That may change my perspective of what I would have rated it several years ago, now that I'm more cognizant of picking books about that topic in Own Voices. So I'll do that. So I have 3 out of the 7 books completely finished. I'm still reading Shoot Down the Winnie Bird. I'm going to finish Juliet Takes a Breath. I'm starting The Kitchen House, and then that leaves just the 7 Lives of Evelyn Hugo, 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I can start that as soon as I finish the Juliet book. So I'm excited because I've been waiting to get to that one as well for a very long time, and I hope I have enough time to finish it before the end of this weekend. So I'm making good progress. This is like the most successful I've felt on a readathon in a long time. So I will check in later with any reading updates or Royals clips. I'm sure you want to see that. So talk to you guys maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight, who knows. It is now day 5 of the readathon, and it is 4 o'clock on Thursday. And to recap what you saw in the last clip, yeah, we apparently had a suite for the Royals game. I didn't realize that was what was going to happen because it was kind of like last minute thing, which apparently it wasn't. Basically, it was just from my boyfriend's employer. He had a suite, and so we went and kind of hung out with everybody, and it was amazing. We didn't really watch much of the game because the Royals absolutely stink this year, even though they won the World Series like 2 years ago. It's weird how that happens. But anyways, so like I said, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I honestly have not done much reading at all. I slept in until 9 for the first time in a while because I was just exhausted after getting home really late from the game and then doing laundry after we got home. And so I just slept in and we went on a walk with the dog. After that, I actually ended up going to the library and checking out some books, and I'll show you my very quick library haul. So basically, I am doing a book a day challenge for the summer, which is where Donald and Miller and just teachers, we try to read a book a day, and so I've always done like 90 books over the course of the summer, and it just happens to work out perfectly for how long the summer is. And so I'm trying to get caught up with that because I got behind, surprise. And so I picked up a whole bunch of picture books, and so I'll share those, just kind of like flip the covers and show you what those all are. And then I also put a whole bunch of holds on books. I had like 100 holds. But, so we'll see. Hopefully they don't all come in at the same time. It's kind of cool the way the library works here. I think there's like 20 libraries and they're all connected. So like if they have one book at a library, they will like transport it to your library and you can pick it up there. So anyways, in terms of reading, I guess I did listen to like an hour, and I started The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. And so I have like 12 hours left of that, so it's really lengthy. It is harder to listen to because one of the points of view has like an Irish accent, and so you kind of have to like really focus. But so far it is about a little girl whose parents have died, and she gets put on this transport and is bought by a plantation owner, and she becomes part of the kitchen house, obviously. And the slave that is put in like under like as her new mom, I guess, her name is Belle, and she is in charge of the kitchen house. And so it goes to Belle's point of view, and she is actually the daughter of the plantation owner, and the wife is obviously not okay with it, so like drama is happening already. So I'm not very far in it, but we'll see how that one goes. It is going to take longer to listen to just because of the style of how it works. I really wish I had a physical copy to kind of follow along with. So I don't know if I'll get it done. I'm really wanting to. But the other goal for today is to finish Juliet Takes a Breath and Shoot Down the Windy Bird. Hopefully I'll do that. And then here in about 20 minutes, I'm actually going to my new library that I will be teaching from this school year. It's the first time I've been back to the school since my interview, and so I'm very excited. The old librarian is going to kind of show me the ropes of like her collection and just things that she has to share with me, and I look forward to working with her because she's going to be going to a different building. So that'll be fun. I'm going to do that. I'm also going to go to Ulta to pick up a new makeup sponge and maybe some setting spray. I don't know. So other than that, I may like put all of these little clips together and edit them tonight, because tomorrow I leave for the wedding this weekend, and I want to have that all edited and done so when I come back I can just share as soon as possible without like having to wait a week, because normally that's my style. So I guess I'll probably check in later with the progress and how those things go. I am going to real quick update my planner for the week and kind of set things up ready to go, and I will check in here in a bit. So here is my random book haul. This is the award book for this year, Science No Fair. Peter Darling is a transgender retelling of Peter Pan. Lizzie is YA retelling of Lizzie Borden. Mapping the Bones, it's the newest from Jane Yolen, who wrote The Devil's Arithmetic. Mary's Monster is YA novel in verse about the author of Frankenstein. Through the Beard, I don't know. I found this. It looks like a indie romance, and there's 4 books so far, so we'll see if I even get to that. And then all of these picture books. Some of these are for fun, and some of these are war. We have Prudence, Fairy Floss, Bunnies, Vincent Paints His House, Madeline Finn and the Library Dog. This looks super cute. Ada's Violin, Diana's White House Garden, Good Night Bat, Good Morning Squirrel. That's an award. A lot of those are awards. Still a Gorilla. Unlike Other Monsters. Is Everyone Ready for Fun? Find a Cow. The Watermelon Seed. And Don't Play with Your Food. So these will be for my book a day. These will be just probably like when I get to them. I definitely want to get to that this month since it is Pride Month. So it is now 9:30 at night, and I have officially gotten the tour for my new library. I cannot wait to get started, but I know it's going to be here super quick. I got a lot to do, but I just kind of need to like cool my jets and just let things fall in place a little bit more. And then I did just get back from walking the dog, or trying to. There was like a deer in the field right before we got there, and so that kind of like threw Brady's nose off, and so he just wanted to sniff everything and not chase the ball, which is kind of annoying because he's been driving me insane the last 24 hours. He completely ate the TV remote, and so that's obliterated. I'll have to find that and show that to you later, I guess. But in between those happenings, I stopped by at Ulta to get some things that I needed and knew I was in the market for. I got the Morphe Highlight and Contour Beauty Sponge because I needed a new sponge, but also Jaclyn Hill raves about this one, and so I want to try that out. And they also had the setting mist in stock. This is my absolute favorite. Normally it is sold out online whenever I need a new one, and so I found one in store. And then I did go to Sephora to look for a highlighter. They were out of at Ulta, but they did not have it there either. But instead, I found something I really wasn't planning on. I found that they have new coconut butter lipsticks from Too Faced. And this color is gorgeous. I have it on my lips now. It is like my usual pinky mauve color. The carton is beautiful. And this formula, it's amazing. I can't really describe it. It's like coconut butter, I guess. So this may be my new summer obsession, and perfect right before I start to film my like spring favorites. I'll maybe share about that a little bit more, but those are my beauty purchases, I guess. And so I need to really buckle down and read some books because I have not read anything all day, and I got some stuff to do with that. So I will check in later tonight, even though it's 9:30. I'm going to be up for a while to get some reading done. So this is the remote in question. Now, it doesn't look too bad until you turn it that way. That is completely broken off too. And it doesn't even like turn on, so yep, another one bites the dust. At least it wasn't a book this time, so thanks, Brady. Alright, so I read 40 more pages of Juliet Takes a Breath last night and then fell asleep. So I have 40 pages left. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done today, but it's about noon and I'm picking up some of his family from the airport for the wedding this weekend. It's kind of hectic right now, so I don't know if I'm going to be reading anymore. I guess this is probably the end of my reading momentum, so hopefully before bed I'll get some reading done. So I will check in later. It is now Saturday and I was headed to get my nails done while everybody else was kind of getting things done that they needed to get done, and it was completely packed. So instead I find myself across the street at Barnes & Noble. So I'm gonna look at books, but just to kind of recap, yesterday I did listen to a little bit of my audiobook, and so I'm at 3 hours in, so I think I have like 9 hours left, and then I got 10 more pages of this done, so I have less than 30 pages. So I will probably end up browsing the whole time in Barnes & Noble, but my goal is to obviously get a drink and then settle down and finish this book before I head to the house and eat lunch. So I will probably show you some of the books that I check. It is now a little after 4 and I just got back to the house to freshen up and get ready for the wedding. But before I do that, I thought I would show you my little mini Barnes & Noble haul. So the first thing, or the last thing I picked up was this pop socket. I do not have one, but it seems like everybody else does. And it kind of goes with my phone case, so I'm going to try this out. Kind of one of those random purchases. The first book I had to share is a middle grade that I already knew about, but I picked up because I love the premise of it, and it's super cute. The chapters are super short, so it feels like you go fast. But this is about a little girl whose parents own a motel, and they are immigrants themselves, and they actually hide immigrants in their motel. And so it's obviously about immigrants and done in a way for kids, and I am super excited about that one. And then I got 2 books that I had never heard of before. The first one was a YA that is called The Long Ride Home by Tawny Waters. Now the Goodreads reviews on this are not very hot. They're like 3 stars. But I saw on the back this is about a girl who has just lost her mom and she's dealing with grief a lot. And like she goes on this road trip across the country to like scatter her ashes. And there are times when I feel like I need to like read a story like this to kind of feel like my heart is being heard in terms of the loss of my brother. And so still that way 5 years later. So I just kind of flipped through the story, and as I was reading like sentences here and there, like a lot of it hit home, and so I picked this up. It's a $9 book, as most paperbacks for YA are. And the last one I got Oh, I'm so excited about this. This is middle grade historical fiction. This is called The Length of Strings, and I have never heard of this story. This is about a little black girl who is in current day and is questioning like her background because she is Jewish and she knows she's adopted. And so she's like trying to figure out like where her family really came from, like her adoptive family. And she finds the like journal of her great grandma Anna during the Holocaust, like 1941, Nazi Germany. And I like everything about that just is like totally my reading aesthetic. You have World War II setting, you have like the whole adoption and like trying to find your family. Like my favorite TV show is Long Lost Family on TLC. So this I'm definitely breaking into soon. And like I said, never heard of before, and I'm so happy that I stumbled across it today. So those are the things that I picked up at Barnes & Noble today. Hopefully I don't pick up any more books anytime soon because I think I'm done for a while, for June for sure. But I am going to freshen up, get ready for the wedding, and spend the evening with a whole bunch of family and friends. Wednesday following Cramathon, and I am just now sitting down to do my wrap up for the vlog. And yeah, I have not been able to film since like Friday or Saturday, and so my filming kind of like dropped off, which I knew it would do because we were very busy with a wedding and then family stuff, and it was just a great weekend. I definitely wouldn't change anything about that. And so I did get some reading done in the evening, and I finished another book that I didn't get to share about. But I have started every single book that was on my TBR, so I'm excited about that, and I will continue some. So let's just get into it. I'm going to like recap what I did finish, what I have not completely finished, and what's I'm going to, and those kind of things. So just starting off the wrap up, I have read 1,346 pages during Cramathon in a week. That is very good for me, so I'm excited about that number, and I'm excited about the things that I read. So the first challenge was to read a 5-star prediction, and for that I went with Far From the Tree. As you already know, it definitely met that expectation. I love everything about this. This is definitely one that I would be recommending to a lot of people in terms of family conversations, adoption, just diversity, LGBTQIA plus rep. There is just so much goodness in this book, and I think everybody should read it. So I also completed challenge number 2, and that was a book outside your comfort zone. And as you know, I chose Time Was by Ian McDonald because of the time traveling aspect. This was a very blah book for me. I think I gave it like 2 or 2.5 stars. I honestly, a week later, don't remember anything about it, other than the fact that I just wasn't very impressed. I think just I didn't go into the right mindset. I think it is more of a thinker book, and I just wanted something to enjoy, and I thought that it would be able to be that, and it wasn't. So kind of bummed out about that one, but it is what it is. The next book that I finished was for challenge number 4, I believe, and that was an LGBTQIA plus rep book, and I did finish Juliet Takes a Breath. I think I finished this like Sunday night. Overall, I think I'm going to give it a 4-star. I am really struggling with my thoughts on this book. I think plot-wise, it's just mediocre at best. Like, I'm thinking 3.5 stars plot-wise. I mean, if you want to read a book about a Puerto Rican lesbian that goes and, like, becomes an intern for this white privileged book writer about feminism, like, okay. But, like, it's not one that, other than just, like, the conversations that are very, very diverse, like you would think plot really drives the story. So I think, however, because of the conversations and the dialogue and the thought-provoking pieces that weren't really forced upon the reader, I think I'm giving it a 4 because, like, it made me, like, reflect and think and just kind of empathize or understand people different from me than a book normally does. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. We'll see if by the end of the month if that's still my thoughts. But it is a very good read if you want something that is different from the norm, and I think that's absolutely positively what people need to be picking up more of. And the fourth book that I completely finished was for challenge number 7, which is read 7 books. So I don't know if it counts because I didn't finish all 7, but this is The Wedding Date. This was a 4-star romance for me. If you like steamy books, or if you want to read a book about long distance relationships, or a biracial relationship, definitely give this one a read. It is fast paced. The audiobook is very enjoyable, so that was the last one that I finished completely. So with finishing 4 books, there are 3 that I didn't completely finish, and I finished those 4 books, and so obviously there are 3 left. I did start all of them, but I think I'm actually going to end up finishing them all too. Like normally for readathon, I'll pick books that I'm like, I'm not really worried about finishing, but I think all these I'm going to go and finish, hopefully sometime soon. If not, put them back on my TBR for a while. This was for challenge 3 of a book that's been on your TBR for a long time. This one is always recommended to me because I have loved The Help when that first came out. This one, I'm about 220 pages in, so I do need to finish this one, and I think I'm going to finish it soon because it's on audio, but like it got sent back to Overdrive, and now I need to put it on hold again type of deal. This book, I should have known that it was going to be much more in-depth and some very tough and gruesome topics because of the fact that it's a book about slavery and plantation owners. It's definitely not a surface level read. There is trigger warnings all over the place. I would say for rape, incest, slave brutality, obviously. You have child loss. You have drug abuse. It's very a very hard read. Like I said, I'm listening to it, and there's been times like I've been on a walk that I'm like, just like chills with what is going on in this book. So anyways, I completely understand why this is book club favorite, why it's always recommended. There's just a lot of things in here that you can't really feel comfortable talking about with other people unless you've read it through the viewpoint of someone else. And I think that's kind of what it opens doors for, because it's in the point of view of the slave. In no means do I think that makes me understand what it was like then, especially this is a white author, and so I would rather read it in Own Voices perspective. But I think it does kind of give us a glimpse into what life was back then, and definitely teaches us like we can't ever repeat any of it. It's a hard-hitting book, and I hope that I love the rest of it as much as I have enjoyed the first part. I believe it was challenge number 5 that was to choose a book that wasn't like a typical book or a normal book, and for that I chose Shoot Down the Windy Bird. It's a collection of flash fiction and poetry by Julia from Pages and Pens, and I have started this one. I don't know, maybe a fifth of the way through because it is quite short. I am enjoying it. I'm still like kind of like trying to get in the mindset of flash fiction because I haven't ever read one before, but I definitely would like to finish that one soon. And the last book that was on the list was for challenge 6, and that's to read a book with your favorite color on the cover. I chose green. This is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, I started this on Sunday night just to say that I have started every single book on this TBR, so I'm only on page 10, but I've met the character, I've met like how she's going to sit down with the reporter and tell her story. On page 1, we talk about breast cancer. Like, come on, once again, trigger warnings, where are they? Like, the whole point of this is like she is doing a fundraiser for breast cancer because her daughter has died from it at the age of 41. Like, trying to stay calm, it's not working. So just moving on. Anyways, everybody's talking about this. I definitely want to finish it. I'm hoping there's not a lot of talk about breast cancer. If you know that there is, please leave me a comment down below that I just need to like forget about it and not read it, because I mean, I'm just overwhelmed with how many books that are about cancer and nobody says anything. Like, I'm reading The Kiss Quotient right now, and all of a sudden there's cancer. Like, I don't know. We have trigger warnings for everything else. So anyways, these are the 4 books that I completely finished, and these are the 3 that I am still working on finishing. I don't know if I can finish them all by the end of this week, but I definitely want to finish this one, and we'll check on all the other ones. I think, going to make a video next about the books I want to finish out this month, because there are a lot left over from readathons. There's a lot I need to do for book clubs. all that kind of stuff. So be looking out for that. Please leave your thoughts on any of these books down below. Tell me what you read for Cramathon, what you plan on reading next, or anything that I need to pick up and try out. I would love to talk to you in the comments. So until next time, bye guys.